Heat checker.
Cunningham.
Get her the ball. Get her the ball. One more time. Cross. A logo
Another
again.
long two.
Oh, no!
She's back.
Oh my
Most
God!
dynamic
This isn't real.
player in the game.
What?
9 points in 38 seconds for
No.
Caitlin. She hit all 3 threes.
And not only 9,
What's
it's
even
30,
going
but look
on?
at the depth
I
on
don't know.
these field
I'm
goal
living-
attempts. She's
This
certainly
is-
feeling
Oh
it.
my God.
Left side,
I'm
right
speechless.
side.
No.
Now come back to your favorite spot
Oh,
again. It doesn't
no.
matter if there's a hand.
What
in
am
her
I
face.
watching?
The reigning champs hadn't lost a single game. No one had managed to solve their puzzle. The New York Liberty looked untouchable, cruising past teams like they were traffic cones. Then, on June 14th, Caitlin Clark made her return from injury. What followed wasn't just a victory. It was a full-blown beatdown that shattered 8 records in one historic night. The Liberty's flawless run? Erased. Their momentum? Crushed. But the real shocker? Indiana turned that moment into a masterclass on how to win it all. If you're fired up for Caitlin's return, drop CC record breaker in the comments. Let's get it.
Caitlin pulls left wing, the right wing, 30-plus feet. Logo crosses over. Watch it. Oh, my goodness. She is back.
Back in the lineup, I'm ready to go.
I think you're just excited more than anything. It gets kind of difficult when you prepare for a game. Obviously, when I'm on the bench, still knowing the scout, knowing everything that the other team's going to do, and still trying to mentally prepare and go through everything like I'm going to play, even though I knew I wasn't going to play. So, doing that, but also knowing I was going to be able to be active today, I think gives you a little extra juice. So I'm certainly excited just to get back out there, get playing, and really good opportunity for us at home here, coming off of a loss. So
This. The reigning champs tearing through the league like they were scrimmaging JV squads. The New York Liberty entered June riding high with a spotless 9-0 record, the last unbeaten team standing in the WNBA. Every matchup felt like a message, and each win only added fuel to their aura of invincibility. They weren't just collecting Ws, they were dismantling opponents with a defense so relentless, it felt impossible to breathe. Teams came in hopeful, maybe even confident. 2 hours later, they'd leave dazed, outplayed, and mentally drained. That Liberty defense? A cement fortress that grew more impenetrable with every game.
You played the Liberty. There was obviously a frustrating ending. What lessons can you take from that experience, and how can that be applied to this, even though I know obviously Liberty look a little different with 2 starters out?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly you take time and score situations, different versions of handling runs, offensively, defensively. Margin for error is small against a team like New York, and every play matters. Every time we send them to the free throw line matters. Every rebound matters.
Every team that stepped on the court with them arrived with swagger and left in pieces. Coaches spent sleepless nights crafting game plans, players broke down film until their brains were fried, and still, nothing worked. The Liberty had a counter for every move. Their pick-and-roll execution was surgical, their defense smothering, and their swagger? Off the charts. Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquil Jones, and Breanna Stewart were operating on a different frequency, making legit stars look like background extras. These 3 weren't just thriving, they were dominating so thoroughly, it felt unfair. Stewart could score from every inch of hardwood. Ionescu hit shots straight out of video games and dropped dimes no one saw coming, while Jones locked down the paint and made grown centers look like they were in rec league.
I think we continue to learn lessons from the first time we played them and from our last game against Atlanta. Every single day that we move forward. I think they're a different team. Certainly, we're going to be a different team, having seen.
The stats said it all. New York wasn't just winning, they were running teams out of the gym. Their victories weren't close, they were blowouts. Star players were getting humbled, and elite teams were getting thrashed by 20-plus points like it was routine. Even the league's top talent looked out of sync, like they were playing catch-up in a different universe. Analysts started asking the unthinkable. Could anyone stop this team? Sports shows debated how long the domination would last, and writers began drafting legacy pieces. The narrative had shifted. It wasn't about who might beat the Liberty, but if beating them was even possible.
Welcome to ESPN's coverage of the WNBA. The defending champion and unbeaten New York Liberty coming to town for the second time this year as we get ready for this game. And yes, she is back. Caitlin Clark will indeed be playing today. Missed the last 5 games with a strained quad, taking on the Liberty off to their best start ever. Sabrina Ionescu and company in this big Commissioner's Cup game as well. And as usual, all the seats are filled here.
Indiana shot, but they needed a spark. The Fever were battling injuries, juggling rotations, and hadn't exactly looked like title contenders. Most assumed this would be another easy win for the Liberty, just another name added to the list. But there was one twist New York never saw coming: the return of Caitlin Clark.
We have an opportunity in front of us right now. I feel like this is like we're starting a new season. You guys, I'm so proud of how resilient we've been up until this point. We're going to continue to have to be. But right now, we have an opportunity to continue to take a step forward. Okay, this can be a springboard for us, right? We're marrying energy and effort with execution. Every single possession matters. Hit singles. Hit singles. Make the easy play. All right? Make one another better. Okay? It's our time. It's our time. Let's go. Here we go. Together on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Let's talk about the turning point. The 38 seconds that flipped the WNBA script. When Clark stepped onto the hardwood at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the energy in the building shifted instantly. This wasn't just a comeback from a quad injury. It was a declaration. She returned with fire in her eyes, ready to send a message that would ripple across the entire league.
And Cunningham is down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark to fire away from
2 players with incredible
ball from Cunningham. Clark, another long 3. She's back!
Defense thought they had her figured out. They'd studied her every habit, memorized her shooting patterns, and expected her to come out aggressive. They'd seen the clips, Clark pulling up from absurd range, and believed they were ready. But they weren't even in the ballpark. Then Clark did the unthinkable: 3 straight three-pointers from jaw-dropping range. The first, 34 feet. Most players wouldn't even glance at the rim from there. Clark rose like it was a casual jumper. Swish. The second, 31 feet. Same outcome. The third, again from 31. By then, the Liberty defenders weren't contesting. They were witnessing.
On Fever, Cunningham got knocked to the floor. Caitlin pulls left wing, buries it. She is back. 24-18, Fever down. Caitlin down from the right wing, 30-plus feet. Good again. No one else but Caitlin Clark. Sedatis, handoff. Caitlin from the logo, crosses over, launches. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding?
The most dynamic player in the game. 9 points in 38 seconds for Caitlin. She hit all 3 threes.
And not only 9 and 30, but look at the depth on these field goal attempts. She's certainly feeling it.
Gainbridge Fieldhouse exploded with every shot that dropped. Pure net, no rim. The crowd was electric, fans leaping out of their seats, the roar growing louder with each bucket. The atmosphere was unreal. You could feel the momentum pulsing through the arena. Clark dropped 9 points in just 38 seconds. That's not just a hot streak. That's redefining the limits of pro basketball. Let that sink in. Most players would be thrilled to put up 9 in an entire quarter. Clark did it in under a minute. In doing so, she became the first player in WNBA history to pull off that exact feat.
And Cunningham is
Caitlin
down
from the
behind
logo.
the
Oh
play.
my God!
But they've got Caitlin Clark to fire away from 3. And Cunningham
Logo.
just now getting up as she stayed down near the free throw line on the other end.
Oh! Okay, why did
Oh my
he take
gosh.
that?
An ankle
Oh
injury,
my
and then
god, and
Johannes
of
very
course Marine
cool.
Johannes
Two
countered.
players
Well,
not
it's not
Three.
quite a logo, but this is why I
Caitlin
love
for the
an
logo
NBA.
again! We got a shootout! We got a shootout!
Well,
Oh my
Again!
god! No, no!
Even Brianna Stewart couldn't hide her smile because what she was witnessing was basketball poetry in motion. One of the greatest players on the planet, Stewart has seen it all. She's battled the best, conquered the toughest, and lived through every kind of game scenario. But in that moment, even she had to tip her hat. What Clark was doing wasn't just impressive, it was the game at its absolute. The Liberty called a timeout, but the damage was already done. Clark had cracked their confidence, wide open. You could see it in their posture, in their faces. The swagger of a 9-game winning streak was starting to crumble. They walked in expecting another routine blowout. Instead, they were witnessing history in real time. This wasn't luck. This wasn't a lucky streak. This was a generational talent sending a message in the loudest way possible. New York had built an early 11-point lead in the first quarter. Clark's 38-second scoring storm wiped it out. Just like that, the game was tied at 24. Momentum flipped. And here's where it went from wild to legendary. By halftime, Clark had dropped 25 points, the most she's ever scored in a single half. This wasn't just a great performance. This was Clark declaring with authority that her 5-game absence was over, and she was back to take over.